All right. Hi, welcome to the video. I'm dressed as the secretary from the Ring of Fire leg of the 2022-2023 return tour of My Chemical Romance. And I'm here to tell you that MCR5 is fucking real. And I know this in my heart and soul, and I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, chapter 1, May Death Never Stop You, the return tour. So, I'm sure we all know that 4 days before the return tour was scheduled to start on May 16th, on May 12th, they dropped Foundations of Decay, their first single in over 10 years. Wow, it's 6 minutes long, and it is about reckoning with yourself and with your past and with your trauma and learning to rebuild and grow past it. They opened every single show on the return tour with this song, except for When We Were Young Fest 2023, which is really cool because they were making a statement. They had all new merch designs, all new merch themes. There were rats, there were bugs and creepy crawlies and vermin and you know, Foundations of Decay. Everything was decaying. They performed in front of a decaying cityscape. That was their set. Like, the themes, they had a theme that was entirely new for this tour. And towards the end, we got introduced. Okay, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Throughout the tour, Gerard Way wore a lot of different costumes, including a cheerleader, including a nurse, including Joan of Arc, including Jackie Kennedy, including allegedly Jackie Kennedy, including confirmed Princess Diana, including the Manson girls. A lot of these women were at the center of tragedies, and I'm mostly just regurgitating, in complete honesty, what Strange Eons said in her video on the return tour, because all of the points she makes are really good, and I stand by them as well. Like, I do believe that Gerard was making a statement on femininity and how it is viewed, and like these tragic women at the center of tragic historical events and how they are idolized, and the Black Swan, he dressed up as the Black Swan, and how they are kind of idolized and viewed. And I do believe that that was on purpose and they were making a statement with those things. Marina Toybina, my main man. Oh my God, Marina Toybina, you have my heart. Love her, she's the costumer, works very closely with Gerard to get the visions across. Like, I really do believe that Gerard was making a statement in wearing all of these pieces consecutively and having a through line through them. With this themes of like femininity and like tragedy. I'm gonna be yapping, as the kids say, so I need fucking refreshments. That's for later. Refreshments, I say, is it's something that'll dehydrate me. I'm cutting this part, this is gross. Okay. There was also this outfit, this Meta Man, pretty fucking blatant. And MCR has always had messages and stories at the center of their performances and their music. And I believe that Meta Man really emphasizes the fact that MCR is back, not because they have bills to pay, not because they want to cash in on nostalgia, but because they have something more to say and something more to bring the world. I truly do believe that that is the reason that they came back, is because not only do they love doing this, but they have more to say and more to share. They stopped doing music because they ran out of things that from the heart to share. And I'll get into more of that later when I talk about MCR5 and like what is happening. So anyway, with the return tour, they were very clearly setting up new themes and new things that had not been explored in any previous music before, including this character of the secretary. Gerard wore this costume, and we know it was a costume because Marina Toybina posted about it, so this was not just a normal outfit for Gerard. They wore this outfit 5 or 6 times, I believe, on the Ring of Fire leg, so like Australia and Japan, Australia, New Zealand, and Japan. And progressively, she got more and more deranged and bloody, which is so iconic of her. Are you kidding? Oh my God. So the last leg of this tour was very explicitly used to introduce us to this character, this costumed persona, this character. And it was theorized because of the drumhead messages that she was a woman who would have been working in the World Trade Center during the 9/11 attacks. And that was why she was bloody. And this was because of like the drumhead messages being like, fix facts, fuck you, which was more office related, but like she worked in an office. And then there was, here comes the airplane, everything is under control, like those kinds of things. And then Gemini, which Strange Eons made a really good point in that video where she was like, is the symbol of the Gemini, not the twins. Like it was very clear that, at least at the time, it was very clear that like this was the story that they were setting up. They were introducing us to a new character. We had a new song that set about this new swarm theme, this new vermins, rats, all of this shit. And then we had this new character, this woman at the center of trauma, a theme that Gerard had been exploring in their outfits throughout the entire tour. And so already I am an MCR5 believer. I'm like, they're playing with new themes, they're playing with new messages, we're getting new music. We already got new music, we're going to get more new music. And then the return tour ended, but it's not the end, because war never ends. That's a quote from Gerard on stage towards the end of the tour, talking about what I would like to believe in my heart and soul, talking about the future of MCR. All right, so then after the after the tour ended, we got a little crazy, and these are not really important to the overall progression of the MCR5 theories, but they did happen, and I want to talk about them. So Frank's fortune cookies. Frank and his fucking fortune cookies. Frank, when I fucking catch you. Frank, when I catch you. So I was not a fan when this all happened. Like, I'm a very new fan. I became a fan in fall, like a super fan in the fall of 2023, started listening to them like fall of the previous year. Like, my inciting incidents for becoming an insane MCR fan were the Strange Eons video and my weights teacher playing MCR in the weight room. So like that's what got me really into MCR, and then somebody I loved died of cancer that fall, so I got really attached to the Black Parade, but that's neither here nor there. But allegedly, I can't find any evidence of this, but allegedly, like 2 days before Foundation's releases, Frank posts a cryptic fortune cookie on his Instagram, and apparently he had done something in the past, like before the first reunion show, where he like used a turn of phrase specifically that was in a fortune cookie, and like that was supposed to be a clue, so people are on the lookout for fortune cookies already. 2 days before Foundations drops, allegedly, I have found no proof of this. I saw it in a Tumblr post once, and I cannot fucking find that thing because Tumblr's search function is ass. Allegedly, like 2 days before Foundations released, Frank posts a fortune cookie that is like a little bit strange. This one, let's finish this up now. Someone is waiting for you on that, caption zero chill. Don't remember when that was posted, but it freaked everybody the fuck out because they were like, MCR5, MCR5, MCR5. So it's in here because it freaked people out. And then this one, I do remember this one coming out, I think. You will soon witness a miracle. People were like, we're getting a new single this Friday. We didn't get a new single that Friday, but it did freak us out, and I was there. So I do remember that one. And then we have soon, with the S being a 5. This was posted by somebody only tangentially related to the band on Instagram. This is a cropped screenshot. This sticky note that says soon with the S being a 5 was attached to a poster of a tattooed hand with the words "I'm not okay" in the tattoos. So this guy was like tangentially related to the band. I think maybe he was a security guard or a producer. It was one of those two. And he posts this, and all hell fucking breaks loose on my corner of Tumblr. Everyone I know is fucking posting about this. What? Fivoon? MCR5 soon? Is that what it is? And then I was in school at the time, so I don't really remember the actual conclusion, but I do remember that like somebody messaged this guy on Instagram about it, and he was like, oh, that's just, it's all jokes. It's all pranks, it's all jokes. But then apparently that guy who asked about it had like stalked the band previously, so like the guy who posted this originally had a reason to lie to like protect his peace. I don't know. I stopped following it because it was pretty clear that like this was probably a joke and this was probably a prank. But it happened, and I remember freaking out about it, so I put it in the presentation. It's what I do. All right, and then we had their last scheduled performance after the return tour. There was nothing scheduled after this, and there was nothing scheduled for like 10 months before this. When we were Young Fest 2024, they were scheduled to play all of the Black Parade, which they had not done since 2007. And so people were like, what? Why are they doing this again? They made a whole big deal about how the Black Parade was dead. Why are they playing the album again? But at least we get to hear Disenchanted. And during the show, there was a lot of talk. Like, people were very divided. It was like, MCR is over, we're so cooked, we're never gonna see them again, or we're entering a new era. We're gonna see a lot more of them. So the backgrounds for their performances, there was symbolism that people were reading into. There were spiders. There was a background of swords, which people were like 10 of swords, and some people said 11 of swords. When you try and count them all, there's like 20. So I don't know how they're getting 10 or 11, but 10 of swords in tarot is defeat. However, like each suit in tarot tells a story. The story of the swords is one of conflict and one of defeat in the end. It is not a happy tale. However, the 11 of swords is technically the page of swords, and the page of swords is all about opportunity and naivety and like new starts and like getting a jump on something and like new beginnings, you know? And 10 of swords reversed can be new beginnings. Like 10 of swords, all of that stuff, like, and then there were flowers in the background at some point that were blooming, so a lot of people were like, rebirth, growth, rebirth. And then I saw people saying that other people had said that there was a specific type of flower that had connotations with November and new beginnings and rebirth. I could not find a source for any of that, but people were saying it, so I'm gonna include it. And then I think what symbolizes this best, death and rebirth, they go hand in hand. The death card in tarot is a really good example of this. It does not usually signify an actual death. It is almost always a rebirth of some kind. It is the end of a cycle and the beginning of a new one. That is what the death card in tarot means. And so I think that that is a really useful metaphor for this as well, because like with the 10 of swords and the 11 of swords, there is defeat, yes, but we'll carry on. And I think that that is the main message of the Black Parade anyway as an album, but it is interesting to see that incorporated at this time in the band's history. So, feels of note, I put it in the presentation. All right, 3, long live the Black Parade. This is the lyric from Foundations of Decay. I don't know if this is showing up well on camera, so I'm gonna read it to you. It says, and we would all build towers of our own, only to watch the roots corrode. November 11th, 2024, around 7 p.m. I'm at work at Scooter's Coffee, about 2 minutes away from my house. I open Instagram because we are slow. The first fucking post that I see is this fucking thing. MCR never posts on their official Instagram. Last time they did, besides promoting LS Dunes and Frank's solo work, was the return tour. What the hell is this? It's a new logo. There's confetti or pieces of paper, something, covering it. I cannot, for the life of me, no one can, make this be an M, but apparently it's a cipher, so there's that. And the caption is, if you could be anything, what would you be? Everybody loses their fucking minds. I lost my mind. I was gone for the rest of the shift. Could not fucking focus. Everybody was very rapidly going between, like, it's a merch drop, it's a Black Parade anniversary thing, it's whatever, it's MCR5. And to that I say, why would they do? They've done 20th anniversaries for their previous 2 albums that have had 20th anniversaries. They did a merch release for Bullets, they did a merch release for Revenge when those 20th anniversaries came around. Why the fuck would they do a 19th anniversary or an 18th anniversary for Black Parade? the 18th anniversary of Black Parade already fucking passed. That was in October. Why are we posting this in November? Why are we posting it in November of 2024 instead of 2026? What? For why? Also, this is Veterans Day in the US. Given the history of MCR and war themes, especially in the last tour where it looked like a war had gone on over the stage, and Gerard frequently just talked about war, just rambled about war a lot. On Veterans Day, guys, are we sure? And then the next day, we get a video. It's a tour announcement. Long live the Black Parade. And guess who's in this video? The fucking secretary. There was so much cryptic shit in the description that I have not figured out. If anybody knows what MOAT stands for, or DRAG stands for, or any of the other things, let me know. I don't know what they stand for, but they're there. So basically, it was something along the lines of, it's been 17 years since the Black Parade was sent to the MOAT. And since that age, the Great Dictator has come around and led us into the Concrete Age. And to celebrate the Great Dictator, we're bringing back the Black Parade as the honored band. That is the gist of what was in the description of the tour announcement. There were new characters, there was a cipher that I mentioned, there was people figured it out, that it's a whole alphabet. I don't think we have the whole alphabet yet because there hasn't been enough released where every letter has been in the subtitles that we can translate. To my knowledge, we haven't found that yet, but it's there, it's a cipher. And so we have all of this world building. For what? A tour announcement? A Black Parade tour announcement? That's weird, that's odd. Why are they putting so much effort into this? And to that, I say, it's MCR5. And a lot of people are saying, it's MCR5, but it's Paper Kingdoms. And to that I say, no the fuck it is not. We are never seeing Paper Kingdoms ever. Do you wanna know why? I have sources. I was gonna take a drink of Monster, but I have sources in my very water-damaged copy of this MCR biography. Let me find this quote. This is a quote from Gerard Way directly, talking about Paper Kingdoms. Okay, I should explain what Paper Kingdoms is actually. So Paper Kingdoms was supposed to be the 5th record that MCR produced after Danger Days, and they scrapped it and they broke up because they realized that they weren't having any fun anymore. The record was supposed to be this concept album, kind of sequel to the Black Parade, about this, and sequel in loose terms of themes and shit, a sequel to the Black Parade, and it was about this group of parents who had all lost their children in horrible ways. It was a support group for these parents, and they went off into the woods to fight a witch as a metaphor for grief. And it was so bleak, and no one was having any fun. And so they didn't do it. They quit, they broke up. And this is a quote from Gerard about the record. I started to work on a record that was a concept record about a group of parents and a support group because they had all lost their children in a horrible way. That was supposed to be the last record. And that's not a story I wanted to tell. And the songs reflected that. You could hear it. All the joy was just gone. Now, fun fact about conventional weapons that I also got from this book. Conventional weapons was born out of, okay, so I should explain what conventional weapons is as well. Conventional weapons is, it's so fucking hot in here. Conventional weapons is a series of singles that were released after the band's breakup or shortly before it. I'm not entirely sure on the timeline. I was 7. That's a lie, I was not 7. Shit, yeah, I was. Never mind. I was indeed 7. It's basically kind of a blueprint for Danger Days, but without any of the story, any of the concepts, any of really the messages. They're just kind of empty rock songs. And they're good. God, they're good. Oh my, they're really good songs. But it is very different from anything else that they've done because the soul is kind of missing. And there was a reason for that. Because the Black Parade's creation process was fucking brutal. The tour schedule was fucking brutal because it was such an insanely successful record. And it really proved to the band, in the worst way possible, their fears that, especially Gerard's fears, that you had to be broken in order to make good art. You had to put yourself through hell in order to make something beautiful out of it at the end. And that is a mindset that Foundations of Decay directly contradicts. Like, there was so much pain and grief that went into the Black Parade, which is why it resonates with so many people, yes. But you do not have to kill yourself to make good art. And that is something that was very hard to contradict. And so when they went into making Conventional Weapons after Black Parade, when they were finally like, yep, let's make another record, they said no storylines. They set specific rules for themselves. They said no storylines. They said no concepts. They said no characters. None of it. We're just making music. No story, just music. And they finished the record. They finished Conventional Weapons. And they hated it. They hated what they were doing. And so they reworked it. They took some concepts. They wrote Na Na Na. And then they came up with everything. And Danger Days was born. And it... and then when Danger Days was done, they went back to the drawing board and they were like, okay, what next? And Danger Days had not done as well. Because it was fun and it wasn't sad and bleak and emo, and also there was a 4-year gap between albums, which is not good for publicity. Unfucking fortunately, the grind never fucking stops, I guess. I'm not in the music industry yet, so I don't know for sure, but like, the book said it's how it works, and they interviewed music industry professionals, so I trust it. So they went back to the drawing board and they were basically like, all right, Black Parade did really good, let's make another Black Parade. And that's where we run into that's where Paper Kingdoms was born. And they hated it. They hated what they were doing. They weren't having any fun. And they decided that it was best to just take a break and break the band up and call it quits. Because it stopped being fun. It stopped being a source of joy. It stopped being a creative outlet. They didn't have any more messages to say. They said everything that they needed to say. And so they broke up. And so when all this stuff is coming out about what is probably new music, a lot of people were like, it's Paper Kingdoms. Because Paper Kingdoms and Black Parade are so intertwined, and because the aesthetics are so similar, I can see where people are coming from. And there was an incident like 2 months ago where some of the some of the Paper Kingdom songs got leaked, and then those videos of the leaked songs got copyright claimed and taken down. And people were like, that means they're gonna release them. That means Paper Kingdoms is gonna get released because, okay, 7.3. Because like, if they truly scrapped this and they didn't care about it, then they wouldn't have gotten taken down and copyrighted. And to that I say, okay, but these songs are less than 15 years old. It's no wonder that the companies still have the copyright. It probably wasn't the band. The band probably doesn't care, honestly, about Paper Kingdoms. They probably never want to talk about it again. Because it is why they broke up. And so like, it was probably the company wanting to save their own face and not the band. And I do stand by that. Like, just because those songs got leaked and they got taken down means fucking nothing. It means companies are greedy. That's what I take from it. But when all of these things are coming out and like the aesthetics are so similar and it's like a new era, but it's building on the Black Parade, a lot of people are saying it's Paper Kingdoms. It's Paper Kingdoms. No, it is not. Why would they release something that made them so miserable? And there is something to be said for the themes of Foundations, like, you know, reclaiming what has hurt you and growing past it and growing with it, but I don't think they would do that with Paper Kingdoms, unless Paper Kingdoms is an entirely different album, like, than it was. Like, it has none of the same concepts, which it wouldn't, if all of this teasing, which it is building towards a new album. Paper Kingdoms is nothing like the Paper Kingdoms that is talked about in that book, that is talked about in those leaks, in anything that talks about Paper Kingdoms. It is no longer the same album. I wouldn't be surprised if, like, it's not even called Paper Kingdoms anymore. Okay. Hi. Guess whose fucking iPhone storage got full halfway through my rant? I finished I'm filming with the back camera, so I can't see when the camera turns off. So I made so many good points. I'm not gonna remember any of them now. This sucks. I'll
Also, I've been filming for like an hour now. My friends are probably gonna come back from grocery shopping and I'll have a peanut gallery and they'll call me a fag. Because I'm normal about Gerard Way. Swag ever. Okay, so what I was saying before the fucking camera cut out, if we are to hear Paper Kingdoms, which I say we are not, it will be so unrecognizable from what Paper Kingdoms was that it's essentially not even the same record anymore. So like, why even say that it's Paper Kingdoms? Because it's not going to be. It is not going to be. And I think that was all that I had to say on that. So if it's not Paper Kingdoms, what will MCR5 be? I believe strongly that they are not abandoning what they set up during the return tour and with Foundations. They are working towards it because of the through lines with the secretary. And people were drawing parallels with one of the men from the opera video being from like a different outfit that Gerard wore, and like the Grand Dictator, Gerard wore a kind of dictatory outfit during the return tour. Like, people are drawing through lines with the return tour, with this new theming, this new, like, the video promotions for the Black Parade tour. People are drawing through lines. So like, I really do believe, especially because of the inclusion of the secretary, that they are not leaving behind what they set up during Foundations. They are working towards it. Black Parade is the foundation, yes, of decay, which is very interesting because it's what I was talking about earlier with the reclaiming what has hurt you. There is no, like, I've seen a lot of people say like, oh, Black Parade again. First of all, it's their best record, objectively. I love Bullets, it's my favorite. Like, Bullets is my favorite. I'm not even a Black Parade main, but like, objectively, Black Parade is their best album. That's why it was so successful. Like, hate to say it, Black Parade's their best. Of course it's gonna be Black Parade. Also, it was the most grueling process to make that record and to tour that record. This is a great choice for them to be building new material off of, not only because it has a larger fan base, but because it is so painful of a process that they went through to make it. Like, the themes of Foundation is learning to live with that pain and grow past that pain. Like, of course they're gonna pick Black Parade to do that with, because it nearly killed them. They played their last show for Black Parade, and they genuinely did not know if they would ever take the stage as MCR again. Danger Days almost did not happen. Conventional Weapons almost did not happen because they did not know if they had it in them to do another record. They did for 1.5, 1.5 being like Conventional Weapons and Danger Days. Half being Conventional Weapons. I'm not calling Danger Days half a record. I fucking love Danger Days. So yes, Black Parade is the foundation of decay. This is a new era with new stories and new things to say. MCR has always been about the concepts, about the stories, about the messages. They have always made music because they have always had something to say. They stopped making music because they didn't have anything to say from the heart anymore. I said that before and I will say it again. And I will say a lot of things before and say it again because I don't remember what I said before the camera cut and after, because my camera hates me. If it happens again, I will scream and cry and throw up and then go delete 5 more minutes of video off my phone. So what I think, my theory for what will happen, over the course of these 10 shows, this tour, we are going to see a resurrected version of the Black Parade. They're gonna come back wrong, I'm calling it now. And it's gonna be similar to the touring schedule for, not schedule, but like the touring order, have like the set list, I mean, from the Black Parade tour in 2007, where they're gonna play the whole album straight through, they're gonna leave the stage, they're gonna come back and do a second set of like their hits. And new music. Like, for the tour in 2007, it was their hits. For this tour, I think it's gonna be deep cuts, I think it's gonna be Foundations, I think it's gonna be new stuff. Because I think that they are telling a story. I think that this is a front for MCR5, for that 5th album, for that new Foundations album. Because I do believe that we're gonna see this revolution against the dictator happen in real time over the concert. That's what I think they're planning, that's what I think they're gonna do. I saw somebody theorize that they're gonna release a song between each show. Maybe that'll happen, maybe they'll play a new one each time, and then at the end we have a full album. That'd be pretty sick. Also, their last show date is September 13th. Foundations of Decay mentions 9/11. The Secretary story mentions 9/11. You know what happens? Like right between the last two shows on the tour, directly in between the last two shows on the tour, between September 9th and September 13th, anniversary of September 11th, I'll be damned if they don't do something for that. With how much that has been a theme, especially at the end of the return tour, I will be damned if they do not do something for the 9/11 anniversary. Pretty fucking sick, if I do say so to myself. Like, I saw that on the tour schedule and I was like, they're gonna fucking do something. This is gonna be big. Like, per chance an album drop, that'd be pretty fucking sick, honestly. Like, 9/11 attacks being the reason that the band started, and then releasing this album, coming to terms with like their impact and like carrying on and continuing on, that'd be sick. That'd be so sick. And speaking on those new things to say, we need MCR's messages now more than fucking ever. Like, we need Carry On. We need I'm Not Afraid to Keep On Living. We need So Long a Good Night. Like, we need In the Face of Extermination, Say Fuck You, which is what this bracelet says. I did that, I pointed to it the first time I filmed this, and then I watched the footage back, and I was like, oh, you cannot fucking tell what that says. Obviously the camera cut before I did it, but whatever. I'm not upset about this at all. MCR5 will also not be Paper Kingdoms. I get so heated about this. It's not gonna be Paper Kingdoms. I swear to fucking God. They have done so much build-up that is completely different than Paper Kingdoms. We are not getting Paper Kingdoms. It's not gonna happen. Okay. That's the end. We need Carry On. We need, like, I'm Not Afraid to Keep On Living. Like, I, for one, am so excited to see what this new era brings and what this new music brings, and like the topics that they discuss and the messages that they get across and the story that they are going to tell over this tour. I am so psyched. I'm so excited to see what unfolds. I'm gonna be here for it. Everything they've done ever has been so masterfully crafted, and everything they've had to say has been worth saying. And I'm so excited to hear what's next. The end. Thank you for watching. I'm insane.